Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Living Traditions Homestead. It is not too bad of a day out this morning. A little bit breezy, a little overcast, but the temperatures are warming back up, which is really nice. We're actually supposed to be into the low 50s today.
This morning, we're not going to have a lot of wind, but later on in the afternoon, we're going to get some really windy weather here. Wind gusts up to 35 miles an hour, which means here, because we're on top of a hill, really a lot stronger wind gusts than that.
Probably 150, 200 miles an hour based on how much buckets blow around when they're left lay somewhere.
So we're going to be trying to get all of our outside projects done this morning.
Right. So we thought we'd bring you guys along today to start here in Wattlesville. We've had kind of a new development occur over the last few days that we're excited to share with you. So we're going to start here in Wattlesville, and then we need to go look at some of our cattle, because yesterday when we gave them a new bale of hay, one of our cows was missing. We don't think she escaped. We think she might be off somewhere having a calf, but we need to confirm that today.
So today we're going to take you along to go look for Peppermint, actually, and her potential calf, and to just check on everybody else, because really we're at the very, very beginning of calving season for us.
Yeah, and then we have, well, we had a little bit of an incident over in our barn lot with our dairy cow and our bull. We'll go over there at some point and show you guys that as well. We've got a little project to do over there to fix a few things up. But it's going to be an exciting day here on the homestead. It always is. So let's start morning chores here in Wattlesville before we head out and start on the cattle. All right, let's start over here with the Silkies and the Polish. They always get a head start on eating because they don't eat as quickly as the ducks and the geese. Good morning. Any eggs today? Looks like 3 eggs from the Silkies and the Polish. They're not big eggs, but they're good eggs. All right, let's let the ducks out next. Good morning, ducks. I hear ya. All right, let's see how many duck eggs we have, and then we'll move over to the geese. All right, looks like 5 duck eggs this morning. So 5 duck eggs, 3 silky eggs. Not a bad start to the egg day. All right, let's move on to the geese. Now, for those of you who watch us regularly, you may have picked up on something with chores so far this morning, and that is my routine is a little bit off. Normally I let the geese out and then I let the ducks out, but for some reason I left the geese in. Well, let me give them some feed, and we'll talk about why. You might notice that there is a new fence here in Wattlesville, just kind of a temporary setup that we put up here, so that the geese will stay over in this part. That's because the geese have started to lay eggs for the spring, and they are actually starting to sit on some of them already. So we want to give them their own area, so once those goslings start to hatch out, they'll have a nice, safe, secure area over here away from everybody else, and we can feed them their own kind of special feed for the goslings, and the ducks won't gobble it all up. The geese that we have are called American buff geese. They will lay normally about 20 to 30 eggs each, and we have 4 females, so we could get anywhere from 60 to 80 eggs. We won't let them sit on all of those, but we are probably going to let them sit on 20 or 30 of them this year and see how many goslings we get. So we're excited about that. Now, the one thing that we really like about the American buff geese is that most of the year they're very tame. They are not aggressive at all. They get along great with all of the other birds out here. But this time of year, when they're laying eggs and when they're starting to kind of protect their nest, they can get a little grumpy. They still normally don't like chase after you, but they'll hiss at you and they'll let you know that they don't want you near their eggs. So we're going to try to get them all to come out and eat this morning, and then if we can get into the coop and count their eggs, we're going to count the eggs this morning as well. So let me give them some water, and then we'll let them out and see what happens. So good morning, geese. Time to come out. Well, good. They all came out. Let's sneak into the coop and see if we can count their eggs while they're distracted by their food. Now, as far as I can tell, just like last year, all of the geese are laying in the same nest. And then last year, it seemed like they kind of took turns sitting on the eggs. So I wish they would actually lay two nests, but it doesn't seem like they're going to. Their nest is right down here in this corner. And we just put new bedding in here about a week ago, and it's already pretty dirty. But once they start laying eggs, we really don't want to clean in here. So it just is what it is. Let's see if we can tell how many eggs they have so far. You can see them here buried under this bedding. There's quite a few here already. Looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 at least. I don't know if there's any further down in there. Looks like 8 eggs so far, and we've taken, oh no, here's more. 9, 10, 10 so far. And there might be more. I don't want to dig around too much. I don't want to disturb it too much, so looks like 10 so far. Plus we've taken, I think, 8 or 10 in the house already as well. So that's all we're probably going to take, and now we'll just let them lay. I think what will happen is if we kept taking the eggs, they would keep laying more and more. But since we're now letting them have them, I think they'll lay until they have what they consider like a full nest, and then they will start sitting on them. So I have noticed one of them sitting on them overnight, but so far during the day, they're not sitting on them. So I don't think they're ready to actually start incubating them yet. I think they're just trying to keep them warm overnight. And then once the nest is full, they'll actually start incubating them. I hear you. I know you don't like me right now. It's okay. I still like you. All right, we're going to go finish up the rest of our morning chores, and then we'll head over and start looking for calves.
Well, it's time for us to go look for the beef herd, specifically for the one cow that was missing yesterday when we counted cows and gave hay. Now, the cow that has been missing is Peppermint, and she is known to separate herself from the herd and be gone for days when she has her calf. She just likes to separate and just be alone. So we were going to go out and look for her. As we were getting the UTV ready to go look for her, I looked around at the hay feeder, and all alone is Peppermint, who you can see behind me, eating at the hay feeder, at the hay ring. Now I went up to her just to kind of look her over physically. She looks good. It doesn't look like she's had a calf in the last 24 hours because her back end is looks all healed up, but she looks much thinner, like she has had her calf. We need to go and try to locate her calf. It is very common for her specifically to leave her calf somewhere while she goes and eats, but we do want to see if we can find the calf. Also, yesterday I saw that one of our heifers, Sweet Pea, looked very swollen in her udder. She was bagging up, and her back end was very springy and loose. So I had guessed that she was going to have her calf within a week or so. If that were a calf who had had a history of successfully calving, I would have said she's going to calve within 24 hours. but because heifers just take longer to like develop and just go through that first calving process, I was guessing anywhere up to a week. I've not seen her today, so after we go try to find Peppermint's calf, we're going to go try to find the rest of the herd, see if Sweet Pea is with them, or if she has separated herself as well. We need to try to find her to make sure she's okay with calving.
All right, we're gonna walk down toward Peppermint. A lot of times the cows will want to go make sure that their calf is okay when they see that we're kind of coming to look for them. And a lot of times they'll point us right in the right direction as to where the calf is. And I've noticed already since she's seen us come through the gate that she keeps looking over that way. Like she knows her calf is over there somewhere. So we're gonna start by just kind of walking down that way and looking. My guess is the calf isn't really far away. It's probably laying under a bush or a cedar tree or something like that to stay safe while she came up to get some hay. All right, let's take a walk down and see what we can find. All we really care about for today is making sure that the calf is alive and healthy, and that we just want to see what it looks like so we can kind of mark that down and see if it's a boy or a girl. That's all we're really concerned with for today. Morning, Mama. Did you have a calf? Do you have a baby somewhere?
She
You
looks
do.
considerably thinner.
Where is your baby? Down there? Well, I hiked down a little ways and I haven't been able to find a calf. But when I got down further, she started to come down by me, acting a little concerned that I was down there. She's never been aggressive, and I don't really think she would be. But I also don't really want to mess with her and find out. So we're going to watch her for a little while and see if she goes and reunites with her calf. And then we'll bring you along if we see that happen. She has always been a very good mother to her calves, so we're not really worried about whether or not she's going to take care of her calf. We would like to see it, but we'll see it eventually, even if we don't end up finding it today. Well, she has had a calf. We just saw it. Now we're pretty far away and it's behind a bunch of trees, so you're probably not going to be able to see it on video, but she definitely has a calf down there with her. We will try to get a little closer and try to get some footage of it, but we don't want to make her upset either. So her well-being is more important than the video right now, but we will try to get down there and get a little bit closer. We weren't able to get close enough to find out if it's a boy or girl, but we did at least get to see that she has indeed had a calf, that it's up and walking around and looks healthy, but it looks pretty new. My guess is it was born yesterday. It's still a little wobbly, but it's sturdy enough that it's walking around, and even on these hills it was able to walk around. So my guess is it wasn't born this morning, probably born yesterday. Now, Peppermint was our first cow to calf last year as well, but she's about a month earlier this year, so that's good. We tried to move our calving date so that everybody would be born a little earlier this year, and it looks like maybe that's going to be a trend. This is also the very first calf now, beef calf anyway, out of our new bull Watson. Our dairy cow had her calf in December, and that was Watson's calf. But this is the first of our beef herd now to have a calf from our new bull, so that is exciting. I'm hoping he did his job and all of the cows are going to have a calf this year. That will be exciting to see. Now, if Watson did his job and got everybody bred last summer, we should have 14 calves this year, and that would be really exciting. We have 6 older cows, and then we have 8 heifers. And so, if everybody got bred, we should have 14 calves this year. All right, let's jump on the UTV. We're going to go look for Sweet Pea, who is one of the heifers who Sarah thought looked like she might be getting ready to have a calf yesterday.
Well, we came down into the holler down here. We knew that this is where the cows would be because there's a bunch of water here. There's a creek that runs down here. And the good news is that Sweet Pea is down here. So she's not off somewhere, but she has not calved. I do want to try to go up to her and just kind of check on her a little bit and see if she's progressed any. Everybody else is accounted for down here. We've got 16 down here. Peppermint up there with her calf, that's 17. That's the number we're looking for all the time. Although now it's 18 because she had a calf. So I want to walk over to Sweet Pea and just see if I can assess how she's doing. Everybody else is doing really well. While we're down here, we're also just going to take a look at everybody. See if anybody has any udders that are swelling. Yesterday when I was looking at everybody, it seemed like maybe the cow we call Dark Nose might have been kind of getting close. I see her over here. So we're just going to walk around and calmly look at everybody and see if we can kind of predict who's going to be next. But first of all, I'm going to go take a look at Sweet Pea. She's right back here behind me. She's been looking uncomfortable for days as far as I'm concerned. Hey girl. This one here, this is Sweet Pea here. Trying to get a better look at her. Hey girl. Yeah, you gonna have your baby soon? She definitely has swelling in her udder. She looks like she has quite a bit of edema, which is just kind of some water swelling. She's walking like she's super uncomfortable. And her back end is super springy. So we'll see. We'll see. I just kind of take a look at everybody else.
Hi, Fanny. How you doing, girl?
You guys might remember Fanny. She's our pet beef cow. Actually, she's a beef heifer. She loves to be scratched. Anyway, Fanny is not near having her calf yet. And I think by the looks of it, really nobody else is in imminent, I don't want to say imminent danger. Nobody else seems to be really ready to have their calf. I looked at the cows, looked at the rest of the heifers. I really think it's going to be Sweet Pea next. We'll just have to see about everybody else.
Well, it's been a couple days since we started this video. What you guys saw just a second ago was actually in reality a couple days ago, because the last few days have been just so windy. We actually had like 40 to 50 mile an hour gusts, and I mean it was bad, and there was no way we could have filmed a video during that. Our tripod was falling over, our microphones wouldn't work in wind that strong, and so it's just been a few days of having to wait before we could film the final part of this video for you.
We want to share with you a story that happened, a couple days ago, and it was just really a crazy story.
Right. We'd actually hoped to bring you along as we kind of fixed the problem from this story, but because we couldn't film, doesn't mean that we didn't have to do the work.
Right.
So we still had to do the work, so today we're just going to tell you the story instead.
So about a month ago, we introduced our bull with our dairy cow because it was time to have her bred back. We did that about 60 days after she calved, and that's about the right timing to breed back your cow so that, that whole cycle just works perfectly. Even though we introduced our bull to her so that she could be bred, we've still been separating her from her calf and from the bull, and actually the steer that also is living with him right now. We were separating them overnight so that we could get her milk in the morning.
So basically overnight, Babe stays here where we are now, which we call our barn lot, This is a paddock where we have our milking barn and everything else. And then the bull and the steer and her calf stay on the other side of that gate right there overnight. And we've never had a problem with that before.
Well, one night we realized that she was starting to come into heat, and we were excited about that because we thought, you know what, the next morning the timing is going to be perfect. We'll milk her, we'll let her back out there, she'll get bred, and everything will be just perfect.
But apparently she came into heat sometime during the night, and the bull and the steer that were over there decided they weren't going to wait for us to get out in the morning to open the gate and let them get in to breed her. So instead, they took matters into their own hooves, I guess.
So we want to show you what happened and what they did in order to try to get to her because they just couldn't wait. She was just irresistible.
So this is what happens when a bull decides that he really wants to get in with your cow and breed your cow. I mean, look at this. This thing is completely destroyed. This is why whenever we're working with our bull, even though most of the time he's extremely gentle, we're always very, very careful because the power in an animal that size, he probably weighs somewhere around 1,800 pounds, 2,000 pounds, somewhere in that range. The power in an animal that size could hurt you and hurt you bad.
Yeah, I just want to move this just a little bit and get behind it so that you can see how far down this thing was crushed.
Right.
We don't know if he like climbed it and then tried to climb over, or if he just like ran and like jumped on it.
Right.
We didn't see it actually happen. We just came out actually to milk that morning, and it was crushed.
And he was in with the...
He was in, and the steer was in, and it was mind-blowing.
Right. So we had to replace the gate. That's what I was gonna show you guys the other day, is we were gonna put the gate on the new gate on a video, but instead we just had to do that off video, and we'll show you this instead. So $140 for a new gate. Right now I just hung it on the old pole that was there. We actually have plans to redo all of the fencing along here, hopefully this summer, so I didn't want to put a new pole in right now. So even though the pole is a little bent, I just still put it on the same pole for now because we're going to redo that later this summer and maybe even change the fencing around a little bit. So you guys, that is a wake-up call about the power that a bull can have and why you always have to respect an animal of that size.
And actually going forward, you know, we need to remember that it's probably best if we don't have one gate or even one fence separating our bull from a cow that is going to be in heat or is in heat. It's much safer to have them behind multiple gates or fences, and, you know, electric. That would have been better.
Right. So lesson learned, $140 lesson learned. But we will do better in the future for sure.
The good news is he ended up breeding her.
Right.
We're hoping that it took, but he did the job that we intended for him to do, and that is awesome.
Right. Well, guys, thanks for spending some time with us while we checked on the geese out in Wattlesville, spent some time working with the cattle, and then looking at the damage that Watson and our steer did to that gate.
We are so happy that you took time out of your day to spend time with us, to join us here on the homestead. If you're enjoying videos like this, we sure would love for you to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Until next time, thank you so much for stopping by our homestead. Take care and God bless.
God bless.